I have figured out who is the real boss of the 20th century.
Marx.
No, that was not the 20th century.
Shit.
Deng Xiaoping. Dude, he is responsible for bringing out 500 million people out of poverty.
Damn.
That was
Is that a good pitch?
Oh,
is that a good pitch?
So what? He's like the deputy prime minister of China or something.
No. So he came after
was
Mao.
sort of, wasn't he, at a point?
Yeah,
And then
like
Mao got
during,
sick of
he
him and
was in
chucked
the
him in
cabinet
prison.
for ages, but,
Yeah,
but he came after Mao.
You shouldn't sound like a pinball machine.
Go on.
That's like most of them. So he
The net explodes.
he was the one who opened up Chinese economy.
Yeah,
So he moved it from like Mao's like really.
You would love this quote, basically, because I like this quote, so I assume you'll like it. But
Yeah.
his most famous quote is, "It doesn't matter if it's a black or white cat, as long as you kill mice." That's what he means. It's like it's just a very Chinese way of saying do what's practical.
Chinese Reagan.
Dude, no, he's not Chinese Reagan.
Kind of.
Chinese Reagan. No, I reckon you know who Chinese Reagan is. The guy that Mao fought. That's Chinese Reagan.
Yeah.
No,
that would
obviously
be
not Chinese Reagan, 'cause Reagan's
the
like-
guy who set up Taiwan is actually Chinese.
Chinese Reagan.
Right.
And he is Chinese Reagan.
But you know what was like the coolest thing about this guy? Because I've been like researching him for a video. He was so good at his job because he did so little of it. Like so as soon as like Mao died, people in China were, or the Chinese like Communist Party were like, okay, so now Mao is dead. How do we make sure that millions of people don't starve every year like they have been before? And so, because Mao had like his own command economy ideas, right, where he would force them to make chairs instead of like growing wheat, which is why they died. Instead of like, so there were all of these ideas like we should set up wheat farms, we should do all of this. And Deng Xiaoping said, you know what would be the best solution? Don't do anything.
Yeah.
Let them do
that
what they have
motherfucker read
to
Lao Tzu.
survive.
Isn't that the free market?
Well, in a way,
Yeah.
but his point was that
essentially just like a free market, like Dem.
no, he wasn't
That's a
a free.
good
No,
thing,
he wasn't
right?
a free marketeer at all. His point, the reason why he
Right,
said
right.
don't do that
No, but
was
he's basically what he is an intelligent leader. It's just that sometimes the free market's the answer, and sometimes
sometimes
Yes.
it's not. That's the point.
Damn.
So, I don't care if it's a black or white cat as long as you kill mice.
What?
See,
Yeah.
that's
Practical.
him.
He's a practical-
He's mad.
Dude, he was the definition of a pragmatic leader.
Pragmatic.
So the
Opposite of an ideologue, basically.
Yeah.
So the
And
reason why he
just chuck in a nice chunk of Lao Tzu in there. That's all he was always saying. It's just like the best leader does nothing.
That's
really cool.
Well, and in certain instances does nothing. His point was that there is no way you are going to be able to help someone the way they will be able to help themselves. Everyone knows what exact problem they're going through. So like even when his governors or people from different states would ask him what should be the policy for our state, he would say, what do you think should happen?
Dude, the best social program is a job. Come on.
I don't know how that relates though.
He's trying to say that Deng Xiaoping is Reagan of China. He's
He
still
is
on that
not
train.
Reagan of China, Miss Love.
I'm just saying.
Get off that train.
Okay, I'm off that train. I'm just saying that, look, that's mad. That's a cool, it's essentially like, you know, Reagan when you have to be, and then
He is
intervene when you have
not
to.
Reagan. He is never Reagan. Who is going to tell Ali about Deng's human rights abuses? I will tell you about Deng's human rights abuses. Deng, the guy that we were just talking about.
Yeah, right.
Man, look.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'm
it's
gonna move
just,
on.
No, but it just needs to be explained a million times about China because the propaganda be strong in this one, yo. Yes, human rights abuses exist in China.
The worst in the world.
The difference is that they are not District 1 to the US like we are. They're not their like close little dog that just like sits there and every time they just remove a prime minister of ours by the CIA, we're just like, that's okay, just install Fraser, that's fine. But they're not like that. They are a country that created their own sovereign nation and had to build it up through 200 years of decay from an extremely corrupt royal family.
You got to look at
but
the
the
context.
entire infrastructure was out, and they have to bring up 1.3 billion people with them. It is a historical accomplishment that there is nothing comparable to in the world. Even if India does it, and they never will, because they're not doing what China does, it still wouldn't show you like a fair comparison of what the two are, because the British actually had set up proper infrastructure in India that, you know, was obviously
completely
inadequate.
absent in China.
Yeah.
In fact, they set it up
Right.
to supply opium to China. And when
It's just narco-terrorism.
and when China said no opium, they said no, we're gonna wage war against you.
Dude, think about that. Like, okay, just think about how like you're always just watching all these documentaries just about like, man, the crack epidemic in Detroit really speaks to me, despite the fact that I'm in Australia and a hipster in Newtown. But they, you know, like you're always just being like, that's fucked in there, man. Imagine if there was just 100 years of that and the entire nation was Detroit.